Amazing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. We're so excited to have you here. As we wait for people to start to join and trickle in, who was the first YouTuber you subscribed to? So we were just talking about this before we entered the official webinar, and I'll go first with mine. The first YouTuber I remember subscribing to was a guy called Mitchell Davis, and I just checked his profile this morning to just see what is this guy up to now. He still uploads video content, but a lot more avant-garde than what I remember his comedy skits being. So if you want to have a nice throwback, maybe you remember Mitchell Davis, feel free to let me know, because I would love to know if you also subscribed to him at one point. But Jen or Kristen, like, who do you guys remember subscribing to?
Well, I was definitely on the comedy route as well as you, Natasha, but I subscribed to Grace Helbig. She had Daily Grace. It was like a daily vlog comedy. She would just kind of like talk about her life. She hung out with Hannah Hart, Mamrie Hart. That was a great trio. That was a lot of my early YouTube days for sure. And what about you?
For me, it was a lot of beauty content early on, like the likes of Beauty by JJ, Patricia Bright, very UK focused, but like learning how to do my makeup, how to do my hair. And on the comedy side, for me, it was mostly creators like actual creator, like comedians, like Trevor Noah. I used to love him a lot as well on the platform. And I was a really big fan of Philip DeFranco, was more like a news anchor, breaking it down like bite-sized insights on a daily basis.
I feel like Philip DeFranco is very original YouTube.
Yeah, you've just been filled in. I love that. I just loved his hook, his finish, everything. It was so good.
Yeah, amazing. Bree also mentioned in the chat the toast, previously the morning toast. Okay, I've never heard of that channel, so that's something that I'm going to look into. Does anybody else have any YouTube channels that you're like, this was my bread and butter when I first discovered YouTube? I would love to know, mostly because I always like to know, like, it tells a lot about a person when you find out what their first YouTube channel that they subscribed to was. Okay, we'll give maybe like a couple more seconds and then we'll dive into the webinar. Shayna, I feel like we're doing really well. So let's just give it like maybe 1 or 2 more seconds and then we can get started. Okay. Amazing. All right. So welcome to our webinar. For those who may be new to #paid, we're a creator marketing platform that helps brands build meaningful partnerships with creators to drive performance, creativity, and long-term growth. Today, we'll be presenting you the long game, why YouTube is still winning. We're going to be diving deep into the YouTube ecosystem to provide you with some really tangible ways to have successful campaigns when running on YouTube with creators. Just as a kind of an announcement, today's session will definitely be recorded and it will be also added to our YouTube channel. So feel free to also drop any questions in the chat throughout the presentation. And if we have any time at the end of it, we will definitely get to them. And if not, we'll give you an email that you can actually email us directly if you have any questions as well. So without further ado, we have a really exciting panel to guide us in this YouTube conversation today. So let's start with some introductions. My name is Natasha, Cantisano-D'Antonio. I manage the YouTube partnership here at #paid along with their programs. I'm really excited to be collaborating with my 2 other panelists. This is just a long time in the making and I'm super excited to be doing it with them. So I'll actually hand it over to Jen to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Quick one for me. I'm Jen. I'm a global partner lead here at Google, where I work really closely with the creator economy to tell you all about YouTube creator partnerships and how you can win with creators on YouTube. Over to you, Kristen.
Thanks, Jen. I'm Kristen. I am the team lead of our creative strategy team here at #paid. And I'm also the YouTube expert. So very excited for our conversation today. And I'm going to kick us right off. So we want to run over a quick agenda. We're going to be focused on 3 key sections today. The first, we're going to dive into the culture of YouTube and really try and really understand that history of how YouTube has become such an impressive staying power and maintained relevance for so long. Next, Jen will start talking us through some of the simple ways to win when you're activating with creators on YouTube. And then finally, Natasha will get into the weeds of how a partnership really works when you're coming to hashtag paid in YouTube and you want to bring that creator content into the feed. So let's dive into the history. Let's get into the fun stuff. YouTube has basically invented being chronologically online. If we look back from its inception, when YouTube was created almost over 20 years ago, last year was its 20th anniversary, YouTube has always really been a home for creators. We talked about a few names. Did we mention Tyler Oakley, Jenna Marbles, of course, a Canadian favorite, Lily Singh? These are some original creators on the platform that actually really pioneered the creator economy. They really built that original playbook from building original content that fostered communities. These communities really engaged in a niche language, a shared culture, passionate support, and ultimately deep trust for the creators that they were following. These early creators had such an impact on culture that the name YouTuber actually became an official word in the Oxford Dictionary in 2016. Fast forward 10 years to 2026, where we are right now, there are now over 3 million vetted and diverse YouTube creators on the platform, existing in over 140 markets. So from comedy to commentary, fashion to fitness, DIY to day in the life, all of these creators are developing content that is building community, but also breaking records and breaking boundaries. And that sort of takes us to the next portion of our discussion, which is really all around how YouTubers are now the drivers of culture, both online within the YouTube community, but also beyond the walls of the feed. YouTubers are now really successfully blurring the lines of online and offline culture, and YouTube really remains this epicenter of relevance. So we want to run through a couple of examples to show what we're talking about. We're going to start with some really obvious names, like raise your hand if you've heard of Mr. Beast. He's got to be like, he has to be the most subscribed to YouTuber at this point, right? Like Jen, correct me if I'm wrong. But what's really impressive about creators like Mr. Beast or Sean Evans from Hot Ones is they were able to build a very original format and dedicated audience on YouTube and translate that into a more traditional media environment. So Mr. Beast developed Beast Games, which actually became Amazon Prime's most watched unscripted series ever, drawing in roughly 50 million views and setting 44 Guinness World Records, reaching the #1 spot in over 80 countries. When you look at Sean Evans and Hot Ones, they were able to sell that show for $82 million, allowing them to become a completely independent operating media company.
I always say when it comes to like Mr. Beast, if my parents know who the YouTuber is, like that's a big deal. My parents actually know who Mr. Beast is.
Yeah, that's a telltale sign that they've crossed the boundary of YouTube for sure. Now, beyond just sort of this like reality traditional format, we're also seeing YouTube become like a real incubator for more traditional, Hollywood type environments. Did you know that Obsession and Backrooms, two of the biggest films of this year, were made by YouTubers? We'll give you a little bit of a backstory. Curry Baker built his audience on YouTube making really viral horror shorts. And then he was, scouted by Focus Features to develop the film Obsession. He made this film for just $750,000, and it's now grossed over $370 million worldwide, making it Focus Features' most successful movie ever and one of the most profitable horror films of all time. Backrooms is a similar story. The creator Kane Parsons was only 16 when he taught himself Blender, and he created this whole world of videos of going in these eerie spaces and back rooms. And this concept was, seen by A24, and he became the studio's youngest director ever. And this film went live in May and has now grossed over $330 million. And again, this creator's 20. So YouTube has really been a home where talent gets discovered, they curate their style, they build an audience, and they can translate it from there. Going even further beyond just television and film, we have stories like, of course, our Canadian favorite, Justin Bieber. He was discovered on YouTube 20 years ago for his covers. And fast forward to this spring, Biebercella, he has his set live streamed on YouTube. And in the most meta moment possible, he started singing along with his own catalog of videos that were on YouTube. Talk about being chronologically online. YouTube has really become this archive of culture that's searchable, evolving, and blending, like we said, these online and offline culture moments. And we're really continuing to see that validated by the industry as well. This year brought a ton of recognition to YouTubers shows. 7 shows across the platform were nominated from Emmys, from Brittany Broski's Royal Court to Kareem Raha's Subway Takes. We're seeing that recognition beyond just that online environment. And even the Oscars themselves will be hosted on YouTube as of 2029, knowing that YouTube is this dominant home of attention. And really, when we talk about attention, that's what makes YouTube so effective, having that relevance and staying power over time. YouTube has now taken over all the screens. It's gone beyond mobile, beyond desktop, and it's actually now into the living room. YouTube is the #1 streaming service watched on TV screens, holding a 13% share of viewership, outpacing Disney, Netflix, Fox, and more. And this is really in part due to that deep trust that audiences have with the creators that they follow. 78% of Gen Z viewers say that YouTube is the most trusted platform when it comes to creators and their recommendations. But what's also really important about YouTube is they offer a ton of unique and diverse perspectives and audiences. YouTube has a really high unduplicated audience ratio, where 65% of short users are not on Reels and 45% are not on TikTok. Now, I'll leave you with one final amazing, hyper-relevant moment of this online-offline culture interaction that happens on YouTube. I'm going to talk about FIFA. We have a major semifinal game in just a couple of hours. But this is a great example of how YouTube is able to take one cultural moment and translate it into 1,000 moments on the platform. So these data points are from the FIFA World Cup final in 2022. If you can believe it, only 13% of the viewership was on actual clips of the game and breaking down the analysis of the plays, and 87% of the views came from content that reacted to the game. So whether that be a cut down or a challenge or a meme or comedy or watch along, 60% of viewers are agreeing that they prefer to watch a creator break down a major event than actually watch the event itself. Both sides of culture are thriving on YouTube. So I'll leave you with a final summary before we get into some of the ways to win. But YouTube's staying power and relevance is really because of this complex ecosystem of originality, creativity, community, and culture. It's a platform that's based in intentionality. Audiences are coming to YouTube to click and choose what they want to watch rather than sitting in an endless scroll. Shorts and long form allow for this balance of discovery, but also depth of content. And ultimately, because creators on YouTube develop these really intimate communities, they're able to provide both entertainment and viewership, but also deep, valuable connection too. So with that in mind, we hope that gives you a bit of an understanding of the history of YouTube and how we landed at this moment. And I'll pass it over to Jen to start to go into the details of how to bring a campaign to life.
Thank you, Kristen. So now that we've had a look at YouTube's winning recipe, a quick recap on the 3 key ingredients that make it unique as a platform. Massive reach. We have over 2 billion active monthly users just on Shorts alone, if you think about those incremental audiences Kristen just mentioned. It's home to diverse creators. She mentioned 3 million vetted creators who benefit from deep trust. And then you have the audiences that you can't find anywhere else. So the next part, we really wanted to walk you through how you can use these unique platform strengths to also win as a brand on the platform. So if you want to tap into these cultures, join in on the conversations, working with creators is effectively the easiest way to do so. And we find that the best brand partnerships are 2 things, 1, deliberate, and secondly, distinct. And what we mean by that is that we see winning brands have more of a strategic approach, like they're really thoughtful in how they partner with creators. They think about it more as a long-term play. There's a lot of long-term relationships and always on campaign activity to really be able to tap into the fandoms and the communities on the platform. And they create content which is matching the look and feel of the different content categories on YouTube, which leads us to the next slide. If we could do a quick show of hands in the audience, or if you want to use one of the emojis, how many of you are familiar with YouTube creator partnerships or Brand Connect, as we previously used to call it? If there's any very familiar, if you're not familiar, that's also okay. Just give you a really quick overview of the platform, because we've just rebranded it at the beginning of this year. It's also been significantly overhauled. And we wanted to give a shout out at this stage to #paid, because they were one of our API launch partners. But essentially, Creator Partnerships is a Google AI powered platform with the goal to reduce friction. Like we know in the past, it could be a little bit difficult to partner with creators. The goal is to make it as easy as possible to discover creators to partner with. So we wanted to build something that's end to end, as you can see here, the different areas that it covers as a platform to allow you to facilitate, manage, and scale your brand deals on YouTube. This solution is available natively within our tools, so within Google Ads and DV360, but it's also available via partner integrations. So I think Natasha's going to walk you through some of the features that are available in #paid. And to quickly call out a few highlights, I mentioned the clunkiness previously. So like automation of workflows has been improved. There's, especially around creator discovery, we really wanted to make it easy and like remove some of that manual labor. And the platform also offers a ton of new insights, which it didn't have before. One insight here is around organic brand mentions. For example, if you wanted to know who's already talking about your brand, it's now easier than ever to see this creator content, to then think about how you might want to reach out to these creators to partner with them. And lastly, one thing I wanted to highlight here as well is around enhanced reporting. So we are now for the first time breaking out that organic and paid performance next to each other, so you can holistically see the impact that your creator partnerships are having on the platform. These are just some examples, and we can move on to the next slide, please. So now, as to how to run these creator partnerships on YouTube, how you can win as a platform, as a brand on the platform. As you can see from the content in this deck, we do love a good alliteration. So we bring to you the 3B framework: bring, build, boost. And I'll dive into what the different bits mean and bring it to life for you in the next couple of slides. So step one, next slide, please, is bring. And bringing is about, for the most marketers, it's the lowest hanging fruit. It's essentially a lift and shift, looking at your highest assets on other short form platforms and taking them onto YouTube Shorts. Obviously looking at, extending your usage rights, working with the creators you already trust and know, and extending that life of your content onto a new audience, onto a new platform with more reach and a longer lifespan. We found that actually there is data that backs this approach. So we did a study with Ipsos in 2024, which showed that repurposing ad assets from other short form video platforms actually drives increased long-term brand growth. And advertisers saw on average 21% uplift there. And what personally excites me is like the endless opportunities of storytelling. Like Kristen mentioned, the different formats that are available on the platform. And I think if you think about long form, short form, and across screens, there's so many different ways in which you can tell your stories, which is unique to YouTube and leads me to the next slide, which is build. So this step is a bit more advanced. This is where you collaborate with YouTube creators specifically, and you build content and creative that is bespoke to YouTube Shorts. So it's about integrating your brand stories, integrating your general content into the creator's content, and speaking to their audiences in ways that they already understand. So on this slide specifically, we have highlighted 10 different content categories, which are native to YouTube, which have stood the test of time. So they're basically evergreen. They're very unique to YouTube, but allow you to tell your stories in ways that are very native to the platform. And that's things like challenges, behind the scenes, interviews, ASMR, how-tos, like the list goes on. And we've also recently launched a playbook that has more examples on every single piece of this and like helps you really think about how to build campaigns that drive brand results. And if you want to have access to that, we can definitely share that with you after the webinar. Next slide, please. One more stat on the building element is around the study we did with Kantar. So they found that in the US specifically, ads from brands that had a creator in it performed on average or were on average 1.4 times more effective than ads from the same brand without creators. And I think what this really highlights is that creators should be part of your always on strategy, and they should run alongside your other type of content and creative on the platform to have the most impact. Next slide, please. And then for our last step, we have Boost. And boosting is about bridging that gap between the powerful organic creator content and your paid media strategy. And we've made it incredibly easy for creators to allow you to link your accounts to their creator asset, or for them to request that you connect them using what we call brand partner access now. And when you then boost the content, we call this ad creator partnerships boost now, formerly known as partnership ads. You can promote that content and boost it further. So what you can do with this as well is, like, for us on the platform, it works across the full funnel. So any marketing objective can be supported using Creator Partnership Boost, and it works without AI-powered campaign types. And to leave you with a stat on this as well, we found that using Creator Partnerships Boost on Shorts inventory delivered on average 30% increase in conversion lift campaigns for demand gen, which is one of our full funnel AI-powered ad format. And all that to say that creator ads can truly add value to your bottom line. And I will hand over to Natasha, who will walk you through how to think about your campaign structure so that you can test this if you would like.
Amazing. Thank you, Jen. Just a funny little note when you're talking about the build portion is that in the vein of FIFA, I went on YouTube today and I just did a random search of, okay, what has everybody been talking about the last game that was played yesterday between Spain and France? And when I tell you that almost all of those types of formats were featured in content that was just uploaded within the last, I want to say 15, 16 hours of the game, it just shows like people are making long form content very quickly, getting it out of just how important YouTube channel is. And a lot of those videos, I'm saying like 30-minute videos are already having like 300,000, 400,000 views. So it just kind of shows like people are automatically gravitating toward YouTube to understand like what's going on in culture. So that's just my little thing that I wanted to point out that I thought was very relevant given what Kristen and Jen just went over. So Jen just went over also capturing that scalable formula. But before you really make every strong YouTube strategy answers 3 questions. Who is it for? What are they going to get out of it? And where does it live? These 3 questions are the building blocks of every YouTube strategy. So let's get into it. Your audience's intent. Know what your viewers are searching for and why their video should matter to them. The value is simple. Are you there to entertain, educate, empower? If the value isn't clear, guess what? You're going to get scrolled past. And format is all about choosing the right canvas, which brings us into a very simple mental model. Think about this mental model and think about it in a very easy, very relevant way. Think of shorts as kind of the trailer and long form as the film. The trailer gets people through the door. It's fast, it's vertical, it's 60 seconds, super snappy. But the film is where you want people to stay. It's where you entertain, you educate, you build loyalty, and you turn that interest into intent. No studio releases one without the other, and neither should your creator strategy be on YouTube either. So now you know who it's for, what they're getting out of it, and where it lives. The last piece is the actual video itself, which obviously is the most important. So YouTube's ABCD framework is how you make sure that every piece of creative earns its view. This is an easy cheat sheet when working with creators and their briefing. This has also been proven by the YouTube's research team for winning with creators on YouTube. The more an ad adheres to this ABCDs, the higher the performance. So first, attention. Grab viewers within the first 2 seconds with motion, faces, or text. Second, it's the branding. Integrate it early and very naturally. The creator's natural voice is super key here. Third is that connection. Lean into relatable storytelling, humor, trends, music. And the fourth is direction. Give a very clear, simple CTA, like tap to shop, click the link in my description, message me for details. All of these work together to create a higher performing ad video. So we've given you a really great foundation on how to think about your YouTube strategy and how to work with creators. The question now is, how the heck do I actually execute on any of this information? So that's where Hashtag Paid comes in. We're a technology company that delivers discoverability and scale for all YouTube programs. Everything we have learned so far, from the bring, build, boost, oh my God, the alliterations are killing me. I'm like, it's a tongue twister in my mind, to build the building blocks and the ABCs of creator content. It's all about to come together on our platform. So working with creators starts with respecting their craft. They are storytellers. So instead of pushing, exact scripts and talk tracks, we actually hand it over to them in our platform, an overview of the campaign. And they pitch you in their own words on what they believe would resonate with their viewers for this campaign. From there, we surface the best fits. That's where the technology of our platform meets that human expertise. Our hand raise tool connects directly with the YouTube Creator Partnerships API, and our matching runs on the creator channel and audience data that we do get from that API. There's no guesswork. There's no guesswork there. It's just in the platform. Negotiations are also able to start right away, and your team doesn't have to get into the nitty-gritty execution details. And remember that ABCD framework that I just showed you, that attention, branding, connection, direction. Creators who live on YouTube build that in natively. When a creator pitches their own concept, you're getting ABCD by design. And what's the result? A 96% approval rating on the first roster. So now that's discovery taken care of. Let's talk about the scale. First, automation. Creators and audience matching, content production, rights, and reporting all live in one place, powered by our YouTube Partnership API. We manage the workflow so your team can stay focused on, your strategy, not logistics. Then comes in the results. As Jen had mentioned, we finally have the organic creator influence and paid media impact side by side in our platform directly for you to view. So it's not just seeing what's worked, it's also understanding the why. That's how your boost gets smarter with every campaign. And one more thing, if you've also ran campaigns with us and you want to bring that content over to YouTube for shorts, our usage rights tool makes that extremely simple. So that's bring, that's build and boost, one platform, end to end. And so we're all about simplification. So here's how we make YouTube campaigns work. If you want to take a quick screenshot of this to remember it for later, we match brands with the right creator. We help produce the content. We amplify it from the creator's handle, and we deliver the results in our platform. And we can also provide measurements backed by our own proprietary studies. Here are just a few collaborations that we've done for YouTube so far across varying verticals from retail, travel, and telco. If your team is very interested in wanting to explore more of this, then we would absolutely love to chat. And so now we're kind of coming to the end of the presentation. So as a wrap, here's what we want you to walk away with. YouTube is not just another channel. It's where attention and trust truly live. It's the #1 streaming service on TV, and its creators turn every cultural moment into thousands more. The playbook to win is very simple. Bring your best performing content to shorts, build native content for creators, and boost it with paid media. And you don't have to guess set the creative. Hook them with shorts, go deep with long form, and let the ABCDs of every brief guide you. And the best part, you never have to do it alone. Hashtag Paid directly connects you through the YouTube API. So discovery, production, amplification, results all happen in one place. That's the long game and how to win it. And that's it. So we're right on time. I never thought I would say that with a webinar. I always go over, so I'm very excited about this. We want to thank each and every single one of you for joining us today. The recording and slides will be available on our YouTube channel. And please complete the post-event survey. If you have any questions, reach out to partnerships@#paid.com, and we'll be sure to get to you.